All right, Tennessee's at Pittsburgh. This stat, I want a little bit of applause because it did take me a while to figure it out. But the Steelers have allowed more than 30 PPR fantasy points to 3 wide receivers. That is the most in the NFL. Who else is doing that research, people? Yeah. All right, thank you. Anyway, they struggle against wide receivers. Talked about it last week with Calvin Ridley. They struggle against outside wide receivers. So are we starting DeAndre Hopkins, Jamie, in week 9?
Yes, you should be. With all the teams on a bye and injuries, etc., it's hard to get away from what he looked like with his quarterback upgrade. I probably have him ranked too high, but I think you're just, looking at with the expectation of how these corners have played. I'm anticipating the Titans chasing points. So I think we'll see Hopkins have kind of a similar game to what he had earlier in the year when he was playing at a high level.
Where do you have him ranked?
Too high, top 15.
That feels a little high. I feel like I might have him a little too low. I've got him close to 24th because
just right in the middle.
Yeah, he's make him an 18th, Heath, or 19th.
Man, this game script is hard to figure out because I don't
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of confidence in either one of these offenses. But the defenses have obviously had some major problems in the passing game and with dealing with the big plays specifically. So this is going to be an interesting game.
I kind of feel like with that being said, I almost trust Levis based on his one game more than I trust a banged up Kenny Pickett based on what I've seen from Pickett all year long. And it kind of makes me wonder if that's where the edge is in this matchup, where Tennessee can actually put up some numbers through the air. Look, I was impressed with Levis. I thought he played outstanding against Atlanta, and I thought Hopkins was in sync with him. He looked good too. I know another old wide receiver, but he's not running around like he's old. He's moving. And I can't help but think that there's going to be an opportunity there for both of those guys to put up at least moderate numbers. I would look at Hopkins as a low-end wide receiver 2, and I look at Levis as a low-end QB1. I think he's got higher upside than a lot of quarterbacks that you're thinking about starting as a bye week replacement with the same type of floor, even against the Steelers, even with Hayward coming back, even with them blitzing him like crazy. Look, he was pressured 40% of the time last week. Look what he did. So I'm kind of into what the Titans are doing in their passing game.
There's being pressured at home by the Falcons. There's being pressured on the road by the Steelers. I think Levis is going to have a come to reality type of game after what we saw last week. Now, he may still fall into like 200, 2 and 2. I wouldn't be surprised if that's his stat line, but I don't think we're getting anything close to what had. There was certainly some flaws in his game last week. It's Hopkins made a lot of plays for him. Let's not make any mistakes there in how that game unfolded for him.
The first touchdown for sure.
So I think we'll see. Well, the second one too. Where he broke free of the defender, or maybe it was the third one. I don't know. The one he caught.
Well, that was a double move. That was a double move that they had planned out.
Yeah, so I think Levis played a really, really good game. Like, let's not nitpick here. But
absolutely.
I thought, Jamie, it's like short week against the Steelers on the road. A lot of towels in that stadium. Like it
one fewer than last week, though, right?
Yeah, it could easily go wrong, though. I could see that. So if let's say by Thursday, if Matthew Stafford's not practicing and it looks like he's not going to play, would you start Hopkins over the Rams receivers against the Packers?
No, over Nakua, yes, not Cup.
I might have a hard time even starting him over Nakua.
All the Rams higher.
Yeah. But any part of you want to start Hopkins over Tony Pollard at Philadelphia?
I don't think I can do that.
Okay. Because a big part of me would
have been a huge mistake last week, but here I am saying that I'll do the exact same thing this week.
No, I wouldn't do that. But all right, would you start Derrick Henry over Tony Pollard? Derrick Henry at Pittsburgh, and the Steelers' run defense is getting better. They have not allowed a running back carry of longer than 16 yards in 5 straight games, but they do see the second most running back carries per game in the NFL. Hayward is going to help if he plays. Yes. But Henry or Pollard? Heath?
I'll go Henry and non-PPR Pollard if catches count for anything.
All right. Generally speaking, Derrick Henry is a start. He's at worst 14th in the rankings, probably right around 12th in the consensus rankings. So You can start Derrick Henry. Hopefully he gets that work. I mean, like I've been highlighting this. 3 wins, 22 or more carries. 4 in each game. 4 losses, I think like less than 15 carries in every game. 15 or fewer carries in all 4 losses. Hopefully right in the, I mean, could be right in the middle. I'm not saying it's going to be one or the other, but you wanted them to be competitive in this game. Levis, would you start Levis or let's say you really need a quarterback this week, obviously. Levis or Jordan Love against the Rams?
Levis.
Love.
I'm sticking with Love. Yeah, I really wanted to add Will Levis. I'd like to have him on my bench, but I don't want to start him on a short week against this defense.
I like Mac Jones better than Will Levis this week.
Ooh,
I do too.
I do not.
Baker Mayfield or Will Levis?
Baker.
Will.
And
Right.
Gardner Minshew.
Baker's at Houston.
Agreed.
Those 2 I have back to back. That one's closer for me.
Let's go over to the Steelers side of the ball here. So we'll sit Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett's thrown 5 touchdowns in 7 games. I don't even. He must have like the lowest touchdown rate in NFL history. I swear. It's
Whose touchdown rate is lower? Kenny Pickett's? Let me see. I'll tell you if he has the lowest this season because I think there's one guy who might be lower.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, if you're asking me, it's either Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence, and I'm sure it's Daniel Jones.
Pickett's at 2.5% this year. Daniel Jones definitely below 2%.
Jeez. Regression. Would you start a Pittsburgh running back? Anybody want to start a Pittsburgh running back? Najee Harris has.
You said regression or Daniel Jones caused a recession for the Giants?
8 catches in his last 2 games for Najee. But you starting a Steelers running back?
Not if you don't have to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, Najee over Warren though.
Najee over Warren.
Yeah.
Najee fell into my top 24, but it's kind of by default.
Pittsburgh wide receivers. Which one do you like better this week?
Deontay.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
I've got Deontay in full PPR. I do think it's a bit of a coin flip.
Yeah, well, on Beyond the Box Score, Jacob pointed out with a shake of his head that Matt Canada went right back to the old George Pickens route tree. He ran go routes. I don't even remember what it was. It was an extremely high amount. I think he said he ran 1 slant the entire game. So all of the progress that we saw from Pickens in terms of being a more complete receiver and running the types of routes that lead to fantasy points, he stopped doing it last week. And he did score a touchdown, but he had 1 catch for 22 yards and a touchdown on 5 targets. Deontay scored 12.9 and 16.5 PPR fantasy points in his last 2 games. Who's the best wide receiver in this game in PPR?
Hopkins.
I have Deontay highest.
I have Deontay highest, but
okay. Would you start Gabe Davis or Deontay Johnson?
Deontay.
Deontay.
Deontay in full PPR, Gabe, and everything else.
Yep.
Would you start Deontay Johnson or I'm sorry, would you start Gabe Davis or George Pickens?
Davis.
I think I'm with
Thomas. Do you have the office meme of Pam saying that's the same picture?
How about Jacoby Myers or a Steelers receiver?
Well, if it's O'Connell coming under center, then I will take a Steelers receiver.
I would go PPR, Johnson, Myers, Pickens.
Myers is first if Jimmy starts. Myers is last if O'Connell starts.
All right. And I think that's pretty much it. We're going to sit the tight ends in this game and the Pittsburgh DST. Let me get the updated rankings there on the Steelers DST.
Yeah, mine are not updated, so I'm so
right,
far behind this week.
Jamie's got him 3rd and Dave has him 17th. So
One of us likes Will Levis. One of us
and he doesn't even know. So
what does mine say?
3rd.
So that was my first instinct. So yeah, I'll stick with it.
Okay.
I'm surprised you
All
like
right,
Will
perfect.
Levis as much as you do and have Hopkins as low as you do.
I think he can run a little bit more, and I don't think Hopkins will be the only guy that he connects with. And listen, it's not like I love Will Levis where he's like top 5.
I do think to Dave, to that point of he won't be the only one. If you're in a deep league and really struggling at tight end, I wouldn't mind having Chig on my bench. He was pretty involved last week. He has a bunch of targets over the last 3 games. I just in case.
How much
Did
of
have
that
an
though
ugly
is
drop last
Traylon
week.
shaking off the rust last week, and now he's more involved this
Right.
Right.
That
That's
could be
one
too.
of the receivers that I think could end up taking some numbers away from Hopkins. Not that I have him ranked super high, but bench guy
All
for
right,
sure.
everybody.